I recently found this guitar right here. Here's the body, and here's the neck. I found it in a local secondhand shop. Paid somewhere around 30 bucks for it. In today's video, we're going to take it apart. I have one idea for a project involving the body and an idea for another project involving the neck. And the rest of the parts are going to go into like spare part bin. You know, if I ever need something, I might pull it for that. I do that a couple of times a year with guitars. Happens every now and then. This is sort of an in-between other videos video. This is a part that happens, you know, behind the scenes a lot of the times. Yeah, we're going to salvage this guitar, take it apart, put everything in neat places. Some things, like some of the screws and the bridge, they're going to go into their separate bin because they have rust on them and I want to clean them up a little bit. I might use them for something that's going to look relic, but the thing is, when you want something to look relic, yeah, you want screws that looks rusty, but you don't want them to actually be rusting, so you want to stop that process. So the first thing we're going to do, can you see me in the reflection? Hi! The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut these strings. You can't damage the neck by taking off the strings. So, look how dirty and grimy this is. This is so gross. I always find it interesting to look at different bridges. You think they're all the same, but then you see that there's a little bit of difference to them. So like, if you look at this bridge, it looks like it's supposed to be really thick, but it's actually really thin. And we might use this for something, I have no idea what. It's very dirty and grimy and needs to be cleaned. So it's going to go into a cleaning bath with everything else. And as you can see, everything is very dirty and gross. So I'm going to see if I can clean it up a little bit. A lot of the time, the reason why something gets, you know, thrown away or given to like a secondhand shop or something is just because it looks gross. And people need to just clean their guitars more often. All the hardware parts and all the screws I'm just going to put to the side, and then I'm going to put them in a bin and just spray some rust remover and put them in like some vinegar, I think. And yeah, we'll just see what happens basically with that. It's not going to focus too much on that because it can take a couple of days to clean actually. Knobs like these, for example, like a really good, you know, save. You might find another guitar that it's like a really good guitar or something, but it doesn't have the knobs and you have the knobs or something. And it's just like, I know that there are like nicer, more expensive knobs, but it's just plastic. It doesn't really matter if it's a Gibson or if it's a Epiphone. The knobs are 90% the same. You could probably say something like it affects the tone, but it's just plastic. I doubt that it actually does. And if you think it does, you can tell me in the comments below why that would be so. Especially since wood doesn't matter. I'm really curious to how plastic knobs could. This upper strap button is really gunky, and it has this weird plastic thing on it. It's one of those zip ties, and that one is thrown away. But you can look at that and just like look how gross that is. Look how it's like so rusty. I might not even be able to like save it. I don't know. We're gonna jump to the neck now and give it a clean up, because I don't know if you can see it, but that's the most disgusting neck I've seen in years. So before we take it off, let's just clean it. Okay, so let's just take a towel and some water and try to scrub this off. It's really in there. It's really in there. Damn it, I have to really force hand. And this fretboard, I don't know what's on it. Because at first glance I was just like, it's some sort of like rosewood wannabe wood. But now I'm like, no, that is not. That's like a maple fretboard or something that they've painted or something. You can, I don't know if you can see that, but the fretboard color is actually coming off. I mean, I'm gonna have to clean this entire neck more than once, I feel. And then I'm gonna have to oil it maybe, if it is even able to take oil. I don't know what this is. It might not even be wood. It doesn't really... It was so dirty that I couldn't really tell, if you're honest. But now that I can sort of see it, it doesn't... It looks kind of fake, like a photo or something. I'm trying to clean off the headstock a little bit as well. I wonder how you get your guitar to be this dirty. I understand if your neck is dusty or something like that. I can understand that, but like... So now I'm going to take off the neck and just remove these screws that is holding it in place. I'm leaving the tuners on the neck for now, because even though they're like low, crappy tuners, they don't seem rusty or anything like that. So I think that they can stay on the neck for now. And so we're just gonna remove the neck and get it out of the way. And here's the first screw. As you can see, it looks kind of fine from that angle, but then you look at this and it's like, ugh. Next screw looked a lot nicer. And here on the other bottom screw, we have the same issue again. There's a lot of hidden rust inside here. So let's just take off the last screw here. And I can already see that there's a lot of rust coming up with that one as well. But it looks pretty fine. It's mostly at the top here that there is a little bit of gunk. But now we can remove the neck. And we can take a look and we can see that the underside of the fretboard here, it's not the same color. Ooh, there's a lot of sawdust left in these holes. Ugh. Yeah, so here's the neck and the headstock. Again, if you want to get one of these guitars, it's by Gibson. Which, I don't know if that screams quality to you, but yeah, here it is. And as you can see, I can tighten everything with my fingers. Anyway, we're going to leave the neck alone for now. This is what it looks like. This is, you know, we're just going to put it to the side. We're done with the neck. Let's see if we can... Oh, here's the plate. And as you can see, it has a little bit of rust and gunkiness. So it's going in the bin. And... it smells weird. Wait, what? Oh my god. I'm gonna throw this away. I never used those anyway, and it smelled really weird when it popped off. It smells like licorice. What the hell? There must have been some sort of weird chemical reaction there or something. Because that's weird. Another thing I want to just show you real quickly, because I think this is important when you're looking in second-hand guitars that are like, they've seen better days, let's say, call it that, and you're going to restore them. If you see weird wobbling, which you will see right here in the lacquer as I move it, but though it's like weird cracking, but it's not actual cracking in the finish. You see it if you look at my face. Then you can see the sort of weird lines that are occurring in some places, like it's just, the body has been expanding and moving under the lacquer, and the lacquer stays still. It's not enough to crack it so you have actual cracks, or actually here you have a little bit of an actual crack, but it's because there's been movement, and it's not been enough for things to break, but like for the lacquer to crack, but it's been enough for the lacquer to flex and then warble up on itself. Almost like wrinkles, like if you look at my hand, like how it's like, and then the wrinkle shows up, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I think it's fun how the plastic, you know, I am the one to pull it off. This is a very odd thing. Let's remove this and take out some of the electronics. God, everything is always dirty. It's always like 50 layer of dust. This one is, it has double tape or something over it. It wasn't a second film. This is the sheen film, but it's already coming off, so we might as well just remove it. Yeah, this is one of those things where you can buff this up or sand it a little bit or buff it up and make it look a little bit nicer. You can use it for something else, but right now it looks a little bit meh. And here we have the electronics. I've already tested the guitar. I did that when I bought it, just to make sure that I didn't buy anything that was broken. We're just going to cut these leads off and put this jack to the side. Maybe we'll find some use for it. It's not rusty or anything, actually. It looks really nice. It's not a high quality thing, but it's something. And let's cut some of these wires. Well, that goes to the bridge and to the pickup. And so now we can pull out. This is all the electronics. Les Paul Jr. like guitar. It's not that exciting, but it gets the job done, or at least supposedly. These are very, very low quality pots, so I'm most likely never gonna put them in a guitar again. But I might put them into some weird experiments where I'm like, oh, I want to try out something goofy and build something strange and weird, like some new kind of musical instrument or something, you know. And then be like, I don't want to spend money on nice pots until I know if this is worth doing. And then I can use this. And everything is already wired up, so if I need a tone pot and a volume pot for something, I can use this. So we're just going to put that in an electronical bin for now. And here we have 2 wires. Actually it's 3, because in this blue there are 2 wires hidden away. And that's the pickup. So we're just gonna look at that in a bit. First off, here we have a very loose strap button, and it comes out like nobody's business. Let's take a look here. The ring, the little soft thing, has disintegrated, and as you can see, it's really dented in, so whoever had this guitar before probably dropped it and it smashed the button in a bit and it got loose. You can actually see that it's really scratched on the edges. It has a bunch of little dings along the edge, and you can either use it either way, you know, you don't need to do anything about it, but you can actually clean that up with a file and some really high grade sandpaper. And here we have some damage. It doesn't take a lot of force to crack polyfinish because it's so hard, but it always looks like craters maybe. I don't know. Let's move over to the other strap button, and here we have it, and it's really different than the other one, which is really strange, which makes me wonder what the hell has been happening, because usually something happens to the guitar and it affects everything and not just one part. So maybe this guitar has been left somewhere where it can get like water on it, and it's been getting water on the neck joint and things like that. I don't know. The ring fell to the floor, but it was gross, just like the other one. You can make new felt rings very easy. I've shown you how to do that in other builds where I've done this sort of jobs. You can also make them out of leather if you want something that will last much longer. Okay, so we're actually doing pretty well here. We're removing everything real fast. It doesn't take that long to take apart a guitar. So let's just remove these screws. They are very dirty. It doesn't look that interesting or nice. And here's the pickup. A big cavity, fairly deep. And here's a pickup. ROHS pickup. There you go. There's the pickup. The pickup looks nice. It looks like it would be functioning. There's a little bit of rust on it, but maybe we can just buff that out or something. So we're gonna put that in our pickup bin. Let's remove the screws. These are really rusty. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, let's just quickly take out the screws for the pickguard. Almost vintage. Look how rusty that is. And yes, that was just a really bad joke. If you didn't get it, neither did I. So, let's lift this up and see what it looks like underneath. Oof. Nothing. Okay, that's good. But the bow, the body has bowed right here. Right here. I can feel it. It's painfully obvious. Wait a second. It's not flat. It's not flat on the back either. The entire body has bowed. This is one of those issues I have with inexpensive guitars, and no one ever talks about it because everyone's like, oh, inexpensive guitars are just as good as expensive guitar. But no one ever talks about the fact that, hey, if you build a guitar really quickly and fast and you don't care about if the wood is dry or anything, then you know, yeah, sure, it will be awesome the first year, but then it will just slowly turn worse and worse and worse. I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things that everyone just keeps on forgetting to mention. And people will buy inexpensive instruments, and then, you know, it will come back and bite them like a year later. Maybe not even that. I don't know. I've had issues with guitars that are low quality and low effort before. And sure, you can get something that is expensive that has passed QC without any good reason for it to do so. But it's like 1 in every 1,000 guitar or something like that, while when it comes to really expensive guitars, it's 1 in like every 50th guitar or something like that. So I don't know. Let's pull out these little things right there. Because we need to do that, I'll show you. I have a way of doing it that I've shown you before, but let's do it again, so that, you know, sometimes you need to repeat things. I don't know. So, very easy way to take these out is you take a wrench and a washer, and you put the washer on top, like so, and you put the actual pull piece that you used to hold the bridge in place, and you screw it down so it starts to clamp the wrench and the washer down in place. And then you take a screwdriver and you just continue to tighten it and tighten it. And because you can't put this in to the guitar, it's not going to go into the wood, it's instead going to pull this out. So it's, instead of screwing itself down, it's pulling itself out. And it's getting really loose now, and I can feel it, and oh, there it is, all done. Now I just need to loosen this like so. And this one, it looks really clean and nice, but we're going to put it in the bath with all the other parts. And now we can just do the same thing again. All the parts are out. Let's put them into our bin. So here's the body right now. And now we can go over to doing whatever we want to do with the body. We don't have to focus on it. Or we can do what I'm going to do, it is start the process of cleaning those parts, so that I can then afterwards put them in different bins and categorize them so that I know where they are, basically. Here's a bin, all the parts. Let's jump into it. First, I'm just gonna spray some of this rust remover on them. And I'm gonna leave them there, you know, to soak it up and to just give it some time to do its thing. And then I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna use a hard brush. If you use a metal brush or something, you're most likely gonna put scratches and stuff like that into it, which I don't want to do. It doesn't matter that much on something of this sort of quality. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna clean them. You could also use a toothbrush if you have an old one. Just make sure you don't forget what you did with it, because if you use it in your mouth, it's gonna be really gross. Anyway, I'm gonna put this to the side now. And once I'm done with this and I feel like I've removed most of it, I'm gonna move on to maybe cleaning them with something like vinegar or something like that, and then let them dry off. That's basically gonna be it. Then I'm gonna sort everything. That's sort of a thing I do behind the scenes, and I think a lot of people do, because you come across parts and things like that that you can see a use for in another project or in some sort of repair, for example. If keeping parts can always be a good thing to do. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions of what I did in this video, you can talk to me in the comments below. But anyway, until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool, and go and take a guitar apart and sort all the parts, and you know, prepare for the future when the robots takes over.